You were created to stand out, to be exceptional, to be unique by design. So welcome to Exceptional Living. Well, hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Exceptional Living. I'm your host, April Ripley, and I want to welcome you all. I also want to thank every subscriber, every person who has liked, subscribed, and shared this platform. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you know, our purpose for Exceptional Living is to inform, to inspire, and to ignite the greatness that lives in you. And we do this through life-changing concepts, intentional tactics, proven tools from local and global thought leaders. And so we know that these persons, these creatives, innovators, thought leaders, global change agents, we're going to share information again to inform, to inspire, and to ignite the greatness that lies in you. And in a world where one is conditioned to fit in, know that you, yes, you, were created and designed uniquely to be exceptional and to live a unique life by design. My very special guest today, I'm so excited, Miss Didintle Ramogetsi Kabanyani from Mafeking, South Africa. Didi, as we affectionately call her, works with the Department of Agriculture in the Northwest Province as communications officer. She graduated with honors in corporate communication, majoring in development of communication with psychology as a second major. She is developmental community stakeholder relations, relationship management, corporate imaging, and personal and corporate branding. This is a bad sister, phenomenal woman. She is an entrepreneur with her company called Gifted by DReamT, specializing in gifting and packaging. She also works with a group of young women to encourage them in life and work and discovery of purpose. She works also with children and the elderly. She is a creative hyphenate. Yes, she is a singer, performer. She is all that. She is a phenomenal woman. I call her sister. So Exceptional Living, please help me welcome Lady Didintle to our program. Hello, Didi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. We're
Hello,
so
my
excited.
sister.
Oh my goodness. Didi.
So
Isn't it
am I.
beautiful that
So am I. I'm
technology,
super excited.
look, technology can connect us across borders and time zones. Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so happy to see you.
Oh,
Yay.
I know. Yay. So, Didi, tell us, you are doing so many things. You are truly living an exceptional life. So, what
Wow.
does exceptional living mean to you?
Here, I was listening to you talking about this Didi person. I'm like, who's that? Is she talking about me? Right. Here, I'm humbled. I'm humbled. Um, so exceptional living is living out your purpose, living out your higher purpose, living out the purpose that God has called you for, living, of course it starts with finding that, but really just living out what you were called for, what you were brought on earth for, and living it out in truth. The greater part of really finding any kind of exceptional life is living in your truth to self and living in truth with God and with man, but more than anything, living a life that is totally exceptional is learning how to be able to push through any kind of limitations, and living in the extreme, not knowing what living in the basic is. Somebody said to me the other day, they're like, do you even know what basic is? I'm like, yes, I do. But just living beyond any kind of thing that you consider as extremes is what I would consider living an exceptional life. Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, it's like, um, how do you then discover purpose? So you talked about exceptional living is living in your purpose. How do you find purpose, Didi?
Sure. That is really a topic I struggled for the longest time with. You know, just finding what I was called to do. I mean, you live with so many people telling you to find your purpose, live in your purpose, yada, 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 purpose. And after a long time, when you're just living, thinking you are growing towards a certain point, you start thinking, Lord, but what is actually my true purpose? I don't think there really is any manual or correct way of saying this and this is how you find your God given purpose. But what you are called to do is what you will be drawn to in your life, and is what you will find a deep fulfillment in when you do. So naturally, we're really just going to gravitate towards everything we like. But there's always going to be that one thing that really satisfies your soul within, and that always just makes you feel like, yeah, I have really accomplished this. And once you get to that point, that for me is when you know that I have really been called to do something like this. This is what I have been called to do, because nothing else other than that makes sense. And like I say, you will always easily gravitate towards it, but you will always be drawn and driven in that direction, if I may call it that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's something that kind of pulls you to it, right? It's like the straw is this magnet that draws
Yeah.
you to it. And like you said, you
Yeah.
you go through this season of discovery. Some people,
Yeah.
it's things that they love to do, right? Easily. For
Absolutely.
others, it's things
Absolutely.
that they see as, changes they would like to see in the world, things that they hate or they get angry about. And so there, as many people, unique as they are in the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
those purposes are there. But the great thing, Didi, that we know is that each of us has been gifted. Gifted by God.
All puns
I was
intended there.
waiting.
Hello.
I was waiting for you to get that, right? So each of us have been gifted by God,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
are gifts from God
Yeah.
into
So
this
true.
earth, right? To answer,
To be gifts to other people.
to be gifts to other people, exactly. And so we can have different gifts. And Didi, you do. I've seen you sing. I've seen you perform. I've seen you host. So graciously, I've seen you organize, orchestrate, manage, and now
Oh,
you're
wow.
into this entrepreneurial space and also in the corporate world.
Yeah.
How do you do it? How
I
do
have
you
no
do
idea.
that?
I have no idea. Even I have no idea. I don't know. It just gets
You don't
done.
know?
Look, you just get it done. You get to a point where this has got to get done. And I honestly really can't say I know how I do it, but I know what I need to do. And I try to focus all my efforts and thoughts towards reaching those target goals. I grew up I went to school in a system where they taught us to set goals. I'm sure you know the ACE system very well, ACE system very well. Each and every day you had to set a target and a goal that you had to do in that day, and your day hasn't ended until you have crossed off all those goals. And if you haven't, you need to account the following day. So it really, for me, is just learning how to set targets and set goals and ensuring that they're done. And when they're not done, coming back to set certain, accountabilities. And it also in a way helps me channel not taking too much on, because my personality knows how to get myself into a lot of things that I forget about other things. But coming back and sitting and saying, have I done this? Have I done this? Have I not done this? Allows me to know that, hey, I think our plate is a little bit too full. We might have taken on a bit more, or just knowing how to balance a few things out so we can accommodate a few others. So setting goals and coming back to be accountable, to myself and to all the things that I have committed to, is certainly one thing that helps me make sure that all the things that I have signed up to do, or I'm requested or expected to do get done. Yeah. I mean, some of them, honestly, I'm human. Some things you aren't going to get done. So it is always wise to come back and account and say, hey, you know what?
Yeah, but to your point though, Didi, I think that when you discover your purpose,
Yeah.
it helps align, certainly your vision, the mission of how you're going to get there, the vision of why why you do what you do. And then you
Yes.
talked about setting targets and goals, certainly in
Yeah.
alignment with your vision. So if you're beginning your business into gifting, then your targets are going to be about that. Vendors, um, you know, trends in gift wrapping and logistics. How is it, I have the gift, but how is it going to get to the recipient? How will the client
Yeah.
discover me, the marketing? So your targets then begin to be pointed and align with your vision, with your purpose that helps you to
Yeah.
accomplish it, right? So each day, and I think you just mentioned this, that you set goals like daily goals, um, and there are different models for smart goals, smart, measurable,
Yeah.
attainable. That there's pure goals, making sure they're ethical, there's responsibility. So a lot of different models for goal setting. But what I hear you saying is that you need to set some goals. Set some goals, some targets that help you to accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
um you know you do a lot, especially when you wear a lot of hats. You have to make sure that you know which hat you're wearing at this moment.
At that time. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't want to
Yes.
cross it, right, Didi? You're gonna like, I forgot what happened.
Yeah.
So that's also important. But Didi, you're there in South Africa. You're a young woman entrepreneur. Talk to us about
Emphasis on
some.
young.
Yes, yes, you're a young woman. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So tell us a little bit of your journey. How did Gifted come about?
Wow. Um, Gifted was sudden, actually. Gifted was indirect channel of me getting into entrepreneurship. So, truth be told, Gifted was actually, you know what we meant about purpose in the end, how sometimes you'll really just gravitate towards what is your purpose. So Gifted was a healing, or kind of recovery mechanism for me. I think I was in a time in my life where I really just needed something to kind of bring back the drive, take me back to a point where I reconnect with who Didi was. Gifted actually started during the COVID times, believe it or not, at a time where nothing was happening. Everybody's life was literally at a standstill. And for me, being a busy person, um, it was a very tough time that I had actually even hit like a mental block of some sort. And in my conversation with my therapist, she was like, find something that actually brings you joy, find something that you really love doing, something that will actually distract you from what is happening in your life currently. Find something that's going to distract you and put you in a happy place. And I don't even know how we came to talk about this whole gifting thing. And she was like, you've been speaking about this and you're so passionate about it, and it's a hobby. How's about you start creating opportunities for you to do it a little bit more? And I sat down, prayed about it, did my numbers, played around with a few things, and just one day decided, let's do this. Because what she said to me was, the one day that you find a bout of confidence, like even if it's like a 1%, jump on it with 100%. And I did just that. I woke up the one day and I was like, okay, we're doing this. Got up, put all the numbers that I'd been trying to crunch together and decided we're starting this gifting thing, and put myself out there, put the word out there, and it really just flew out of my hands. And the next thing I know, everybody's like, how much do you do this? How much do you do this? And I was like, okay, now we really have to start being serious about this thing. So that's when you start thinking, okay, this is now not a hobby anymore. It's no longer a side what you call. It's now starting to be a serious thing. So let's put it together like a serious business. And I mean, we still are growing towards that. But like I say, it literally drove me there, because from there you come to realize that this is where my purpose is. My purpose is in sharing love. My purpose is in spreading love from here to there. My purpose is in making sure that people are uplifted, making your day brighter whichever way we can. And that is honestly how Gifted began. And now she's just such a blossoming baby that how a toddler, you think she's crawling, next thing she's just running off and you're like, you're gonna fall. That's how Gifted started. So yeah, I think I answered that question.
No, you did. You did. There's so much to unpack
Yeah,
in that, Didi,
yeah,
but the fact that you started this in COVID, right, when the world was shut down, but you saw a need. So several things. You recognize that part of what you do is give love and encouragement to people, and that could be utilized through the vehicle of gifting. So
yeah,
we can have these propensity towards things, and there are different avenues that we can utilize, different vehicles to express, to get there, to share. And
yeah,
this is scriptural, right? Proverbs says that when you water others, you're also watered. Luke talks about giving and you're
absolutely.
given back to. And one of the things I think that your therapist was sharing with you is sometimes there's just this moment, there's this inspired moment, act in that moment. Because what happens is
Yeah,
that your mind, your spirit, your body all converge into this moment to say, do it now. Because here's the reality of it, Didi.
absolutely.
What if it doesn't work out exactly how you plan, but then what if it does? So you have this chance 50-50, but
Exactly.
you have a zero if you do nothing. Someone who said that they don't want to live their lives regretting, like what if, what if, shoulda, coulda, all these things we look back on. So we can at least say, you know what, Didi, I did it. I tried it.
I
That
did.
way didn't work. I've got to go back, readjust some things,
Absolutely.
relearn some things. But guess what? At least I did it. At least I said I was going to do it and I
Yeah,
did it. And for you to do this
yeah,
in the middle of a pandemic that had a lot of people feeling, isolated, and this whole village, it takes a village to raise a child, very popular African proverb and really life of Ubuntu. This is not what COVID was. You couldn't leave your house. If you could, it was this. And so
yeah,
you said, you know what, this could be an obstacle for some, but I see it as an opportunity to still share love, to still
absolutely.
give of myself, my amazing self, Didi, of heart and spirit, and to have something tangible that people can hold on to remember, to be thought about and encouraged.
Yeah,
So I certainly
yeah.
commend you for beginning that. But, what is it like, Didi, to share with us, working in the corporate space, being an entrepreneur, different, some different skill sets, some little similar, some different. What have you
Yeah.
learned from your corporate work that you've been able to utilize in your entrepreneurial aspirations?
Sure. Um, Obviously, when you're in the works in the corporate life, you learn about, you know, giving off a perfect service. Um, we in our government, we believe in what you call the Batu Pele principles, translated as the people first. So it is just, you know, in short, in brief, to say it's about the people first and not about you. So obviously I'm working in the government space, in the public sector. So we cater a lot for the public. So everything you do is about the public service. And, it really does require you to be selfless to a certain extent. So that is, of course, the one thing that I really took from that, especially coming in the gifting space. You're working a lot with emotions, very different kind of emotions. And if you're not connected to that, I mean, there's no way that you can cater to people on that level. So I definitely took that principle to say you kind of need to learn how to step into the moment or the feeling that this person is coming in and the feeling that they're trying to express to the next person. Because obviously, with my gifting, I literally work with people sometimes who are not even in the same city as I am, and they're trying to make the person in another place feel as though I'm with you or I'm as excited as you or whatever kind of feeling it is. So I need to then portray that, but also give my client that kind of feeling. So you kind of learn that I need to offer a certain type of service. So this person needs to know that they can simply walk into any gift shop, but they need to know that there's a different type of experience and service that draws them to gifted as compared to anyone else. So I really took that and took learning to serve the person first and learning to make it and empathize or empathize and make it about both these people and deliver the type of feel that they want. I am just as an example, I had a client who had moved to the States. She got married and she moved overseas in America with her husband. I'm not too sure where exactly, but she was pregnant and she wanted to tell her mother or her parents this these exciting news. So I'm now in Mafeking. I have to pretend or send news from America to another province that I'm also not in. And obviously, you need to, tap into that feeling type of emotions, put it into this box and send it to this person. And you can only know how to do something like that if you know how to capture your kind of person's feelings and put your client first. So that is in a way how I've try to bridge the two together, because in anything, whether government, private, parastatal, it is really all about the type of service that you offer. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Didi. So for those of you who are watching that thought that if someone sends you a gift and it's just haphazard, Didi has just explained that you have to tap into the emotion, known and some intuitive, and capture it in a gift that
Listen, there's a lot
represents,
of
yeah, not just the giver, but also the receiver. Oh, okay. Didi, I was just tired thinking about it.
thinking that
Yeah, so it's much more, again, than
absolutely.
just the
You know how they always say you know how they always are you there, I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah, they as they always say.
Yes, we're back. Yeah. You know how you always say it's the thought that counts. Regardless of how small or big the gift is, it's the thought that counts. Literally so much thought went into just that, however small it is. But just the mere fact that you crossed somebody's mind, that's more than enough thought. So obviously for them to actually get up and put effort into that thought, listen, you blew me away already.
Yes, that takes it to the next level. Absolutely, Didi. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, those are good thoughts to think of, whether it's
Yes.
someone who is celebrating good news, but also someone who may need encouragement. And the reality
Yeah.
of our human experience certainly is that we all have these expectations here, and then the reality maybe just lands here. And so we have to deal with the in between, which leads to disappointment, sometimes discouragement. How does one work through that, Didi? I had a high expectation. Reality came here. What and they didn't meet. What would you say to someone who finds themselves in that situation? Or maybe you'd like to share a situation that you've experienced where the expectation was here, your reality was here, and you had to deal with what was in the middle.
Sure. That's such a tricky one, hey? That is really such a tricky one. But as you said that, I am reminded of a day, a devotion that we had this week, and the sharing was that scripture says you need to be thankful in all times because that is the right thing to do. And the second one is that we count it all joy when we come across, I'll say anything, but the scripture says challenges or hiccups in the Bible. And when you learn to be appreciative and thankful in any situation, good or bad, it instills in you an ability to be able to be content with where you are, but it also enables you to know how to be driven to keep moving forward and not limited to where your reality is. Truth is, expectations aren't reality in as much as they aren't impossibilities. Um, but it really also doesn't mean that our realities are any lesser than what we can receive them as. And most times, we learn to live in the reality. But if we have that positivity in us that keeps us pushing and pushing and pushing to try fill the gap between realities and expectations, then we will keep living each day with a level higher ticked and a level higher ticked and a level higher ticked, regardless of how much bigger our expectations grow. So, our ability to live in the moment and be grateful for where we are and what we have enables us to be able to always have a positive drive towards going and going and going. Because really, if we're going to sit back and say, tough, this is my reality, it's not like any expectation, you're never going to want to keep pushing more and see if you can actually reach anything higher than that. So that would just be my thinking, to say, look, always find the great, always find the good when you get to tick the box and you see that, okay, this is actually really my reality. Because the day you do get to your what the expectations are, you will really then be able to realize that, wow, I've actually finally gotten to the expectation. Otherwise we're never really going to be happy with any goal that we've reached if you can't be grateful with any goal that you reached, whether reality or expectation. Yeah.
Yeah, and Didi, to the point of, you're really talking about mindset, right? You're talking about how a person perceives what is happening, right? If your mindset says, okay, I know to count a joy, that means that I don't want to, but this is an instruction, an encouragement to me to say, do so, because thankfulness and gratitude actually open. They're like expanders, kind of like when you open a fan, it looks
Yeah.
closed. When you open it, it expands. And that's what gratitude does. And so we're not grateful because the bad is happening, but we're grateful because we have the ability to go through that, um, because one, of our faith in God. Two, we have people, family, friends, persons that are supporting us, that are with us, not just around us, but with us, to encourage us through that. And I think that certainly is what we've seen over the last few years that was magnified. I think people were, kind of living their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But once it stopped and the whole world really shut down and people couldn't go, they realized that, oh, wow, my family lives here. Oh, wow, my neighbor is next door. It's like they've always been there, but we stopped
Yeah.
for a moment to come back together to talk, and our lives change as we realize that one of the most important were the people in our lives, not just the work, not just the play, but the people that we live our lives, that we share our lives with. And as you said, the people first, and being able to utilize that ethos that you have in the public sector space, of government into your business. What do the people need? What is it that the people are trying to express in their gift, in the emotions of their moment, celebratory or maybe condolences, right? So being able to bring all that together. But Didi, so much that you shared with us. We hear your own resolve, right? Your resiliency. You have this like resilient mindset, like, okay, so we're going to do this. And because we wanted to do this, we love doing this. And what comes will come. We will plan for it. We will prepare for it. And if it works out, fine. If not, we'll find a better
Great.
way. There's a different mindset, right? It creates this resiliency as well. And I think for all of us, we saw this resiliency of people to press through, to now have to learn through online platforms, to work remotely. And now
Yeah.
people are going back. This push. At first, it was like, no, I don't want to work from home. Now it's like, I don't want to go back to work. I want to work
I
from
don't
home.
want to go back to the office.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to the office. And now, managers are saying, come back. You must come back into the office. So humans have this kind of, we just flow, right, Didi? We just,
Yes. Listen, humans have a great adaptability that they don't know.
yes,
That comes with
adaptable.
resistance, though. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Climate and everything, all right? We're
Yeah.
working through that, learning through it. Didi, what would the woman that you are today say to the girl that you are?
Yo.
What would she
You
say?
know, I've
This is
actually
the only
never
time
known.
you look back, Didi. This is the only time you look back. Didi today,
Listen,
woman,
I've
brilliant,
always I've
beautiful.
always admired women who can have those letters they write to the 9-year-old me, da, 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 in those details. I always figured, yo, I think that 9-year-old was actually more fearless than this younger version, this 33rd younger version of Didi. But here's what I'd say. I would say to her, it's coming. Yes, no doubt, it's definitely going to happen, but you need to get up and be intentional about it. That's the first thing I'd say to her. The second thing I would say to her is you definitely have the power to influence, to impact, and to dominate. Just make sure you get up and you're intentional about it. The third thing I would say is don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid of anything and get up. I think the resounding message in my life is get up and be intentional about it, regardless of the fear, regardless of anything. You can be fearless, you can be influential, you can be all of these things. But if you're not going to be intentional about using any one of those character traits in you, it's really not going to happen. So, in short, I think that is really what I would say to the younger version of Didi, as energetic as she was more than me, because you're.
Oh no. Be intentional. You
Yes.
have the power. Do it afraid.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not doing it because, yeah, I feel all the courage in the world. Sometimes it's like, I'm not really sure, but I know I can do it. I think I can do it. I can do it. I think I can. I can. I think I
And I'm
can.
going to do it.
And you do
Yeah.
it. And it reminds me of
Hmm.
President Nelson Mandela, the late Mandela, right? What did he say? That courage was not the absence of fear, but it's the triumph over it.
Yeah.
And when you step out, as you just told our younger selves, when you know that you have the power to do it, that you're intentional with it,
Yeah.
he says that the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but it is he who conquers the fear.
Rise
So
above your
it
fear.
is that step of launching out and saying, I'm going to do it. Even if I'm
Yeah.
a little afraid, or as one of my little cousins used to say, a little scared. Then you go
It's
back
all
and say,
about
because children,
rising
you
above.
said this.
Yes.
Yeah, Didi, you said this.
All about.
Children really aren't afraid. Like they will climb up. You'll say, get down. They don't see that
Yeah.
they could fall into themselves,
No.
right? They
No.
do it because they see it and they want it. It's only as we get to be adults and go, I could fall. I shouldn't go up there. They don't care. You know, they feel
No.
that even if they fall, they cry and they want, and they get back up and they're like, okay, I'm going to try it again. Like they'll try it again. And so
Until I
thank
get
you.
it right. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Try a different way. I'm going to get a chair the next time. I'm going to chair and climb down, whatever it takes, right? Didi, thank you so much for sharing with us your journey, your discovery of purpose, all the things that you're doing there in South Africa and governance, your charitable work, your nonprofit work, your giving of yourself back to young girls and women, the inspiration that you give in being an entrepreneur, an owner, sharing and serving your gift to the world, being gifted and gifted. I love it. Gifted by DReamT. We're just really grateful to have you and to share in your journey and to encourage you to continue to step out because you have the power, you have the courage, and I'm sure we'll see more and more of Gifted and
I'm sure.
some of the other things that we talked about earlier too, even some of the singing, these creative gifts coming out.
Well.
Yeah. Okay. So she's saying it all that note. I'll say this. We'll say this. Just thank you so much. And we just speak blessing into your life.
Amen.
Spirit, soul, your mind, your will, your emotions, and your physical body. And to all the things that pertain to you, that God will continue to enlarge your territory, your influence and impact, because you, my sister, are a global change agent.
Amen.
And
Wow.
you are changing the world. And we honor you for that and say thank you again. And God bless you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you so much for having me on your platform.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have once again been informed, inspired, and ignited to greatness that lies in us by our special guest, Lady Didintle. I do hope that you learn that you have the power. Be intentional. Step out with courage, not because there is no fear, but in the face of fear. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this program. Thank you for your support, and may God continue to bless you. Thank you for watching.